The salary, absolutely. The starting the season earlier, where you conflict with March Madness, that's nonsensical to me. Again, make some sense to try to get your league away from the college football and the NFL for the sake of ratings. I get that.
That single reaction says it all. The CBA negotiations are spiraling in a direction nobody expected. The WNBA came forward with a massive proposal, one that would have delivered 4 times salary increases for several players, yet it was dismissed almost instantly. The real question now is, what's going on behind the scenes that's pushing the league toward the first potential work stop?
It was the housing situation. Now I'm trying to figure out, somebody earlier said, well, of course they're not going to take this because they're going from $60,000 to just $225,000. So they're not going to agree to the housing part. And I'm like, you getting let me do math, $150,000 a year raise. You can't find something for $3,000 to rent?
Here's what the league put on the table in its latest offer. The minimum salary would jump from $60,000 to $225,000, a massive $165,000 raise for rookies and role players. The average salary would climb to $500,000, up from $220,000 in the previous proposal. Max contracts would hit $1 million guaranteed, with total earnings crossing $1.2 million through revenue-sharing incentives. On paper, it sounds like everything players have been fighting for, but the Players Association didn't hesitate. They didn't say maybe, they didn't ask to renegotiate, they flat out rejected it, and their reason had nothing to do with the money.
Okay. As negotiations continue between the WNBA and WNBA PA, on a new CBA Sports Business Journal reported the Players Association plans to reject the league's latest offer. Guys, are we headed towards a lockout? Because they're daring billionaires.
Then there's the housing issue, and this is where egos come into play. In the league's latest proposal, team-provided housing is removed entirely. Currently, players receive housing throughout the regular season and postseason, and if they choose not to use it, they get a monthly stipend. Under the new plan, all of that goes away. Now, let's be reasonable for a moment. With a minimum salary of $225,000, securing housing for 3 or 4 months isn't some impossible financial burden. These aren't players making $30,000 a year anymore. At that income level, you can comfortably afford a solid apartment or short-term rental in any WNBA city. But that's not the point, and the players know it. This isn't about whether they can pay for housing. It's about what the removal of that benefit symbolizes. For years, players have pointed to things like shared apartments and bare minimum amenities as signs that the league didn't truly value them. So taking away housing at the same time you're promoting historic salary growth sends a contradictory message. It raises the question, does the league actually respect its players? Or is it simply trying to craft good PR?
Really come out and say, yeah, Kathy Engelbert should probably be let go. But because they handled this situation the way they did, I don't think we're going to do it, or I don't want to do it now. They didn't like how that went down. According to the report, it is partially due to, quote, vague pay scale projections. The WNBPA reportedly has...
There is one genuine concern about eliminating housing that deserves real attention. Players on temporary contracts, those signed to 10-day deals or short-term injury replacements, operate under a completely different reality. Some of them are with a team for less than 2 weeks, and they earn far less than players on standard contracts. Expecting them to secure housing on short notice, for such a brief stay, places an unnecessary financial and logistical burden on them. The league could easily solve this by keeping housing support for temporary contract players while discontinuing it for players on full-season deals. That nuance is missing from the current proposal, which makes it clear the league didn't fully consider the practical consequences of this change.
The WNBA has proposed an average salary of $500,000, but with a proposed salary cap of $5 million per team and 12 players, the numbers do not add up. The salary cap would reportedly increase over the length of the CBA and be directly tied to the league's revenue growth each year. Specific revenue sharing details haven't been disclosed. USA Today reached out to the WNBA for a comment. The league's latest offer to the Players Association includes a max base salary of $1 million guaranteed.
Now let's get into the schedule changes, because this is where the proposal becomes genuinely problematic. The league wants to move the season start up, potentially to as early as April 1st, which the current CBA technically allows. Training camp would open 30 days before that. The league's stated goal is to avoid going head-to-head with the NFL and college football in late summer and fall, since the WNBA has consistently struggled in ratings when competing with football. On the surface, that logic tracks. Shifting the calendar earlier could give the league a window of exclusive attention from sports fans. But here's the problem. This plan contains a major oversight that exposes how little the league actually understands its own product.
Offer raises the minimum player salary to $225,000 and the average salary to $500,000, up from $220,000 and $460,000. Respectively, in the WNBA's previous proposal on November 18th. League is also reporting the latest offer no longer
starting the WNBA season in early April puts it in direct conflict with March Madness. The NCAA women's basketball tournament runs through early April, with the championship game typically in the first week, and it draws massive ratings. The 2024 championship featuring Caitlin Clark, for example, pulled in nearly 19 million viewers. This is the single biggest platform for women's basketball in the country. March Madness serves as free marketing for the WNBA. College stars build their brands, grow fan bases, and create storylines that flow directly into the professional league. Caitlin Clark didn't become the biggest draw in WNBA history by chance. She earned it by dominating college basketball for 4 years, watched by tens of millions. The tournament is where casual fans discover the next generation of WNBA stars. Scheduling professional games to compete with it doesn't just fail to solve the NFL problem, it creates a new one. It pits fans against a choice. Watch high-stakes college tournament games or WNBA regular season matchups in April. That's not a winning strategy.
During the regular season and postseason. Come on, USA Today, write better articles than this. Should a player choose not to stay in the team's provided housing, they receive a monthly stipend. A change to the housing requirement would also impact players on temporary or short-term contracts who are with the team for a minimal period of time. The league also proposed increasing the length of the season, which would include an earlier start date. If the date is moved up, it could interfere with the end of...
Proposed schedule changes also appear aimed at the league's new competitors, namely Unrivaled and Project B, by starting the season earlier and potentially extending it. This would erase the winter window these leagues currently operate in. Essentially, it's a defensive move to limit players' options outside the WNBA. Here's the key point. Strategically, Unrivaled may struggle no matter what the WNBA does. Project B, however, with stronger funding and higher salaries, is a real threat. The WNBA wants to suppress these competitors before they gain traction. From a business standpoint, that's understandable. No league wants rival organizations poaching its talent, but using schedule changes as a weapon has consequences. Players highly value opportunities to earn income in the offseason. Many have built relationships with international teams, while others are intrigued by new domestic leagues. Forcing them to choose between the WNBA and every other basketball opportunity breeds resentment, especially when paired with proposals that remove key benefits. The bigger issue is that the league is making unilateral decisions about player schedules without properly compensating them for lost off-season earning opportunity. Players are expected to commit to a longer WNBA season that prevents them from playing elsewhere. They need to be made whole for that lost income. While the proposed salary increases are significant, they may still fall short of what top players can earn year-round across multiple leagues. Then there's player health and longevity. Basketball is physically grueling. Playing year-round without sufficient rest increases injury risk and shortens careers. Many players have advocated for a true off-season to recover both physically and mentally. The WNBA schedule expansion, while potentially good for the league, works directly against player wellness. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, a potential work stoppage. The current CBA doesn't expire until October 2025. But these negotiations are happening now because both sides want certainty before the season starts. If they can't reach an agreement, it could mean either a lockout, where owners refuse to let players work under the old terms to force a new deal, or a strike, where players refuse to play to leverage their labor. Either scenario would be devastating for a league that just experienced its most successful season ever, thanks to the Caitlin Clark effect. The WNBA has never seen a work stoppage in its 28-year history, but this time is different. The league is more valuable than ever. expansion fees hitting $50 million, new media deals on the horizon. Players see this as their moment to secure long-term financial stability. Many billionaires who've never turned a profit on their WNBA investments want a deal that actually makes economic sense. This sets up